And welcome back to the Upside Sports Network. My name is Michael. Appreciate you guys joining us for part one earlier today anyway, continuing to draft some fantasy teams. Told you guys I want to draft quite a few of these. We've already done a couple of snake drafts tonight. We'll go ahead and do a salary cap one next, as long as we can get some people to actually join the league this time. And then we'll do a couple more snake drafts as well. We use ESPN.com. If you guys use Yahoo or whatever other site you guys use out there, go ahead and join along with us. Go ahead and take part in a draft right along with us as well. If you have any questions about Fantasy League, if you have questions about who to draft, where to take them, who to avoid, all those types of questions, we've gotten quite a few of those already today, so let's see if we can keep that momentum going. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit that like button. It really does help us out. Trying to gain as many as we can, as fast as we can. Trying to complete our first year here on YouTube in style anyway. Our first year will end in November anyway, so let's see if we can get that momentum back up and going now with football season upon us. Again, Thursday Night Football, we will be doing a live stream during the game. Bills and Rams. On Sunday, we'll do some fantasy football stuff for you guys beforehand. We will also be doing some football for you guys on Sunday during the football season. And then, of course, Monday night and Sunday night football we'll do live for you guys here on YouTube. For those of you who are baseball fans who joined us during the MLB trade deadline, don't forget, we haven't forgot about you anyway. We will still do some baseball games here and there, but football season is upon us, and as the season winds down for baseball, we'll check in on a few of the key games around baseball, and then some postseason games as we get into October. But thank you guys for joining us, and without further ado, let's get right into the draft. Now, as I mentioned, I do like to use ESPN.com anyway, so we'll see how it goes during this one here. But we like to go ahead and join our league. There we go. We're going to go ahead and do pro because we've done fantasy football for a very long time. We're not about to start back at beginner. PPR is what we're going to go with. I like how PPR has made receivers more valuable. And of course, we're going to go with a salary cap / auction draft for this one. See if we can actually get one to take off. Drafts take off in 5-minute intervals. I'm the only one in this lobby. Of course I am. Well, let's go ahead and just see if we can get people to join. There we go. See if we've gotten anybody to join at all. So far, just me, and that's it. Yeah, I don't feel like sitting around for another 5 minutes waiting for people to finally decide to play auction drafts. Let's go ahead and leave this league, go back to sign up, join a league, Snake draft. Let's see if we can get in a draft real quick. This one, we got 3 spots still open with 15 seconds left. We'll see if they fill up here. And they do. All right, with no long wait. Appreciate that. Snake drafts are a lot easier. Now, we did get the, really, the entire league was full. Of course, somebody left. Whatever. Oh well. We did a draft earlier. We got the number 3 pick. We did a draft as well. We got the number 6 pick, I believe, in the draft. So we'll see what draft spot we get this time. I still have yet to get the number 10 draft spot. That's kind of the spot I want. I actually do really like how the 7 and 8 spot line up as well. 8 is very nice. 7's still a little tougher, but 8's pretty nice. See how many auto drafts we get in here. Let's go ahead and look at some of the rankings. I went over some of the wide receiver ranks, who could finish as a top 10 wide receiver. Went over most of those running back ranks as well. Let's look at the quarterbacks. Josh Allen, I think, is your easy number 1 quarterback this year. There is a few players anyway who could take Josh Allen for that number 1 spot, but he is a lock to be in the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks this year. Anything lower than that, and there's been an injury. Patrick Mahomes is in that same conversation. Herbert falls for me, in my opinion, around 5 and 6. I think he's going to be a very good quarterback, but I think that Austin Eckler is the player that you're going to want out of that offense. Outside of that, I don't think there's a guy that's going to make or break your fantasy roster. And that includes Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Justin Herbert, anybody else in that Chargers offense. Kyler Murray, I'm putting almost outside of the top 10 just because I think his ceiling is right at where his value is being drafted at right now. And I would rather have Tom Brady. I'd rather have Joe Burrow. I'd rather have Trey Lance than Kyler Murray this year. Jalen Hurts as well should be above Kyler Murray. So I'm putting Kyler around that 11-12 quarterback this year. Tom Brady, I'm moving up into that top 5 conversation just because of the consistency that he plays with. Every week you can count on him for what you're going to get out of that lineup. Got 3 minutes to go here until the draft. But Aaron Rodgers is a borderline top 10 quarterback. Matthew Stafford probably in that 11 to 12 range along with Murray. Russell Wilson probably in that 12 to 13 range. But I think that's pretty much where the line drops. See this right here with Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins? Those are kind of your bye week fill-ins. If you're rostering them, that's a mistake. You should only carry 2 quarterbacks if you're carrying one of these top 13 guys. If you're carrying a guy like Trevor Lawrence or Kirk Cousins or Derek Carr, go ahead and drop them to the waiver wire. They need to be there for bye weeks, etc. And you can use that roster spot to go in a different direction. Joe Burrow, I think, is probably in that 8 to 10 quarterback group with the potential to go into that top 5. Dak Prescott, I think, is in the lower half of that quarterback grouping, probably in that 8 to 10 range as well. So that's kind of where your quarterbacks stand. Jalen Hurts moves up into that top 5, in my opinion, along with Tom Brady moves up into that group as well, with Justin Herbert around that 5-6 spot. I'm moving Kyler Murray out of that top 5, making room for Hurts, and then Tom Brady. So that's kind of your quarterback rankings, in my opinion. Let's look at some of the tight ends. Travis Kelce is by far the number 1 tight end, in my opinion. It's not close. The target share he's going to have, the rapport he has with Patrick Mahomes. Now that Hill's gone, he's going to be the number 1 target on that offense when they do try to throw the ball. Now, of course, Juju's going to eat some of those catches, MVS, the backs, etc. But I think Travis Kelce is an easy 6 to 10 catches every single week with a touchdown. 100 yards easily. Now, Kyle Pitts and Mark Andrews, I think, are going to be in that next tier. I would rather have Kyle Pitts than Mark Andrews just because of where Andrews is being drafted at. I don't think he's quite worth that draft capital. I'd rather go for the third or fourth round with Kyle Pitts and go ahead and get another top elite wide receiver or running back in that top spot. The last tight end, in my opinion, that's worth drafting, at least this early, in that 5th, 6th round range is going to be George Kittle. Now, I know a lot of you guys are in on Darren Waller. I am out. I still think he's going to be a decent tight end, but it's not going to be worth more than George Kittle. I think you're easily looking at the 5th tight end, and right around Dalton Schultz range is where he should be drafted. He's being drafted in the 50s so far this year. I think that's really rich for a tight end that's only going to give you 160 to 170 points in my estimation. I don't think he gets anywhere close to the 188 that ESPN is expecting he'll get. The last tight end I keep an eye on, at least this late, is going to be Zach Ertz, and then I look for my waiver wire guys if I miss out on all those players. I'm fine with streaming a tight end as long as I'm not giving up extreme value pieces for like a Mark Andrews or something like that. The draft is now open, so let's go ahead and get in. I got the number 1 pick. How about that? It's the second time this year I've had the number 1 pick. Obviously, it's going to be Jonathan Taylor. Anybody who doesn't pick Jonathan Taylor with the first overall pick, I don't know what you're smoking. He's probably the most consistent player in that top 10. Now, of course, you could go for upside and go with Justin Jefferson. You could go with Cooper Kupp. Christian McCaffrey, I think, is a very good running back and is very elite, but he comes with injury questions. Jonathan Taylor, I expect to be my steady Eddie at the running back spot. I'm probably going to look to trade him. Honestly, though, I just would rather have another running back instead. We'll go to the other league whenever we're waiting for a draft room anyway, just to see how it goes. Got a full minute until that draft. Trying to remember which league I have Jonathan Taylor in. There he is. So there you can kind of see Jonathan Taylor. We'll go through some of these teams and see if we can propose a trade. Something I think would be worth Jonathan Taylor going to another team. But for the most part, my running back position at almost all of these teams has worked out very well. On this team in particular, I've got James Conner, who I think is a borderline top 10 runner. I could use help at wide receiver on this in this league anyway. So I'd probably go with a receiver, although I've got Allen Robinson as my 4th receiver. My quarterback is a little bit weak with Russell Wilson being the starter week 1. Trey Lance has the upside there as well. But here in this draft, we're about to get underway. Jonathan Taylor will be our pick, and we're not going to waste any time. There goes Jonathan Taylor, my number 1 pick. Now, right around ranking number 20 is about where our next pick is going to fall in. I like James Conner, Aaron Jones, Travis Kelce in that group. If I'm hoping for a player to fall out of any of the other positions, it's Deebo Samuel. I think I've gone on and on and on about how much I like Deebo Samuel this year. If you can get him in your draft, get him. He's going to be a solid gold for you this year. Wide receiver 1. If you have Justin Jefferson already and you circle back around and get Deebo Samuel, you could possibly have 2 of the top 5 wide receivers in the game on your roster. Austin Eckler going ahead of McCaffrey. I can understand it just because of the injury issues with McCaffrey. Cooper Kupp, no real surprises so far, pretty much chalk. Derrick Henry going a little bit early, ahead of Jamar Chase. There goes Dalvin Cook. And as expected, pretty much chalk. Right around pick 10, 11, 12, 13 is where you could finally see some movement. There goes Devontae. If I'm Tag, I definitely take Samuel here. The only other option for me would be Diggs or Mixon, but give me Samuel all day long. Instead goes Kamara. Definitely not going to get Samuel. Definitely not going to get Diggs because there's a couple of auto drafts in between. So it looks like we will end up with probably Kelsey or Connor. There goes Diggs and Samuel. And now I'm pretty much at that range anyway. There goes Swift, Lamb. This is almost exactly chalk so far. Leonard Fournette, fade him. Looks like I'm going to get at least two of my guys that I like here in Jones, Connor, and Kelsey. Now receiver might be a little weak for me, so hopefully there'll be a receiver left that I like when it circles back around at the end of the 4th round. I wanted James Conner, but we'll go ahead and take Travis Kelsey and then Aaron Jones. Kelsey's one. I'm kind of surprised how often I'm taking the top tight end. I usually don't end up with the top tight end this often. In years past, when you think of like Gronkowski, players like that, Kelsey in previous years, I'd never ended up with one of those top tight ends. I'd always end up with like the Zach Ertz of this year's draft, something like that. Antonio Gates when he was around. So we'll see how this works. I do like the production of a Kelsey, so we'll see how often that works in my favor. We're still almost exactly chalk at this point. I mean, nobody's been drafted out of range anyway. Hopefully we start seeing some reaches at some point here. Alright, while we wait for this to kind of circle back around, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other teams anyway. Let's start with Team Hemmler. They've got a couple of good runners. They're not going to give me extreme value. Crikey. They have one good runner and not a lot else that I want. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one, Team Cow. I think he was one of them that kept taking pieces that I liked at the back end of the draft. Miller, Schuster, Dillon, Kirk. Yep, this is definitely it. But I don't see any frontline piece besides maybe Josh Allen that I would want back to headline the deal. So we'll go ahead and skip for now. Let's go ahead and go to Team Lamb. I like Hurts. I like Jones. So Jones could be the central piece of the deal. Amon-Ra St. Brown could be the depth. So it could work out for that one. Looks like we're still waiting quite a ways for our pick. Finally seeing a couple of reaches here with quarterbacks in Allen and Mahomes. At the end of the 3rd round here, we'll see which direction they go. DJ Moore's probably the best receiver left on the board. And then I like Jalen Waddle. Nick Chubb, the best running back left. Herbert goes really early here. That's nice. Might actually get Waddle to drop to me here. He's the one receiver I really like this late in the draft besides DJ Moore as possible #1 targets, but Moore is not going to make it to me. There are 2 auto picks in between. There goes Moore and Akers. I'm just hoping they avoid Waddle. Jerry Jeudy reached for a little bit there. Looking at the second pick, I have Kelsey. Pitts is on the board in this range. I got to keep an eye on him. I like Cortland Sutton in this range as well. So I could go with a Waddle and Sutton stack at the wide receiver spot. There goes A.J. Brown, Terry McLaurin. Leave me Jalen Waddle. That's all I want. And I could play Pitts at the flex spot. There goes Lamar Jackson. That's just fine. But I'm going to go ahead and take Jalen Waddle here. A good wide receiver 1 for me at least. And I want a really good wide receiver 2. Deontay Johnson figures to be a target monster early in the season, but will he be all season long? I don't know. Cortland Sutton as well. Kyle Pitts has some value here at tight end, but that would mess up my draft board and everybody else's. I really do like Kyle Pitts in this spot, though. The value is there for Pitts as well. I like Zeke, but I've got enough running. I mean, just look at my running backs. I got Taylor and Jones. Cortland Sutton's not going to last. Pitts is not going to last. Judy's already gone. I think I've got to go Sutton here. We'll go ahead and take him. Alright, let's kind of go back to this trade offer we were thinking about making. Lamb hunting is one team we'll consider. Here's Team Beavers. They could use a runner. They got some good receivers. Maybe. Rambling. I don't like their runners, so I wouldn't want either one of them back as the headline piece. I like Thielen. I like Jamar Chase, so I could do like a Jamar Chase, Adam Thielen, maybe a late round player as well, but I don't really have anybody else that I like. So that could be an option. Team Rambling. Here's Team Kraft. They got some good runners. They're not going to give me elite talent in return. Not really what I'm looking for. Hilton Head. He's got Kyle Pitts, Justin Jefferson, Tom Brady. Not much else that I like except for maybe Darrell Henderson. I still don't see... Here we go. Austin Eckler and Deebo Samuel I really love. I'm not going to get him for my top... or for Jonathan Taylor, but I'd have to give something else of value up. Let's go ahead and just start with this one just to see what would happen. Propose a trade. Eckler, Deebo for Taylor and Johnson. It's a pretty fair offer, pretty close. I'm probably still getting the better end of it. See if I'm getting close to my pick yet. Of course not. We've seen Pitts come off the board. Deontay Johnson come off the board. Kittle as well. Dobbins is still out there. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Gabe Davis, Elijah Mitchell. We'll see where the pick ends up. I don't like Kyler Murray this year. I like DJ Moore quite a bit. I'd have to give something up of real value here. They don't have a quarterback that I like, so I can't improve off of Wilson. Now, I could give them Wilson, but I don't really want to do that either. Let's go ahead and take DJ Moore off. Eckler and Samuel for Taylor and Johnson. Let's just see if they take it. And we made a proposal. Waiting for this pick to come around. Jalen Hurts coming off the board really early. Let's take a look at the quarterbacks that are left. None of them that I want, at this rate anyway. So we'll go ahead and wait. Looks like we're going to have our choice of Amon-Ra St. Brown, Elijah Mitchell. We're going to need another receiver and a flex. Might be a little early for Juju, but I really like him at receiver this year. I don't think he's going to be there by my next pick, so I got to think about him. Outside of that, I'm thinking Elijah Mitchell for the running back. Maybe Amon-Ra St. Brown. We'll see how this goes. Depends how the next couple of picks fall, and we'll see which way we end up going. We're going to need some running backs in week 14. There goes Elijah Mitchell. Dang. It's like somebody's paying attention. Watching the stream. There goes Kyler Murray. So, yeah, definitely going to be some reaches at quarterback. I don't like Godwin very much this year. Just looking at the running backs that are left, we got 4 of them that could be drafted in this range. CEH could be one of them. I like him this year more than most. I think we'll go ahead and take Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think. I don't know. Kind of torn. Because I want Juju Smith-Schuster as well. Okay, let's go ahead and take Amon-Ra. And the choice becomes CEH or Juju. Let's go ahead and take Juju. And then just hope Pierce lasts. My receiver group is solid now. I got 4 good ones. Not necessarily A+, but still good enough to fill in week to week to week to week. I should be able to get at least 15 points out of every single, or out of that position every week. No! Oh, that one hurts quite a bit. Dameon Pierce, I think, is a very good running back, too. So I got to keep an eye out for Team Swanson as possibly a trade partner for me before the season begins with Jonathan Taylor. I might be able to convince them to give him up. Looking at their runners, they do need runners. I like Mitchell. I like Pierce. That could be something that works. Trade Jonathan Taylor for Jefferson. And then see if I can get one of those two backs in return as well. That'd work out very well. Maybe both of those backs, actually. Jefferson, I think, might actually end up with more points than Taylor. But Taylor's trade value is really high right now. Maybe send Amon-Ra St. Brown the other way. A.J. Dillon's probably the best running back left on the board, in my opinion. Gonna have to look at quarterback with the next pick. I could look at Thielen, Robinson, or Kirk. I doubt they make it to me, but we'll see. This is kind of your dead zone of the draft. There goes Kirk. There goes Thomas. Thielen's going to go here in a second. So I might just double up on quarterback next. Running backs are still flying off the board really early. So I might just take one quarterback and then Dillon, assuming Thielen is gone. This is going to be an auto pick here now that Swanson left the draft. Hopefully he pays attention to his trade offers, because I will be making one after this is over to him. If he gets Thielen, then that would probably work out as far as a trade. I'm guessing he's probably not going to want Thielen. He gets Russell Wilson. Ugh. There goes Thielen. Kareem Hunt is still on the board. Maybe. Not my favorite roster so far. That's really early for Allen and Lazard. I mean, this is going to be really early for A.J. Dillon, but I need running back. Hey, Charles. I tried messaging you. Left a message when this video was, or when the live ended last night. I tried sending you a message in the comment section, but never got anything. Tom Brady or Joe Burrow. Brady's a better lock at this spot, so I'll go ahead and take him. We'll go ahead and cue Burrow and Lance. There goes Devontae. No worries. Would have been nice to be in the same league, but maybe we'll figure something out between now and the start of the season. Got a few picks here until the next one, so while we wait, let's go ahead and look at that league once again, see if we can find another trade partner. Cal was one of them. Don't really have a good, third, fourth round option that I like outside of Allen. That's what I was thinking about, if I could get enough of you guys interested. No, I don't have a Discord, though. There goes Kareem Hunt. Got about 10 more picks until mine. Alright, let's look at some of these other teams. I can't remember. Was it Lamb that had a decent option? Yes, he had Jones, but he also has McCaffrey. Maybe he wants the number 1 and 2 picks in the draft, and we could leverage that a little bit by getting Jones, Hurts, and Amon-Ra, maybe? Maybe? Makes sense a little bit. Yeah, I have a Discord, like a personal one, but I want to get this YouTube over 1,000 before I do anything else. I tried diversifying myself, I don't know, about a month ago, and that was a lot of work. And didn't pay off. I want to get this thing working, though. There goes Burrow. So Trey Lance is probably the pick for me. Ramondre's going to be gone. My running back room is going to be a little weak in this league. Probably the most... Yeah, as far as like diversifying, I did like a podcast, started a Patreon. I didn't do anything with my Patreon. I literally just started and set it. But I did a podcast. I did... What was the other thing? I did some daily updates here on YouTube. Those were okay. I got some decent viewership out of them. I think you actually participated in a few of them. But the work that it took to get those going wasn't worth, the 20 or 30 viewers that I was getting on them. My longer live streams that I have work so much better. Like right now, I've got 16 of you guys with us right now, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. But long videos just seem to work a lot better. Tony Pollard is still available. I've never really drafted him this year. He's going to be more of a receiving threat for the Cowboys. I think he's kind of fool's gold, just because I think, what's his name, Ezekiel Elliott's still going to be the guy. But with this spot here, we'll go ahead and take Trey Lance, and then we'll circle back to the running back spot, and I want Raheem Mostert. Now I've got 4 running backs. I like my 4 runners, don't get me wrong, but I would like to have a little bit more oomph in that group. I still like my 1 and 2 by a mile, Taylor and Jones, but I'd like to trade in Taylor for somebody else. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at this league and go ahead and propose a trade. We're going to go ahead and ask for Aaron Jones for Jonathan Taylor. And we're going to ask for Hurts in exchange for Wilson. That's kind of our upgrade there. And then we could do Amon-Ra. We got Ramondre. They really don't have much on their bench that I like aside from maybe Kareem Hunt. So I guess we'll do Amon-Ra for Ramondre, I think. Looking at my running backs, I've got Pierce as my number 3. Mostert would be my number 4. Dubes, Pickens. Probably should do another receiver. Maybe Pickens. But I think I'd rather have Hurts. I don't know. Jones and Hurts for Wilson and Taylor. Not bad. I could do CD and Deontay. That would make some sense for me. Still waiting for the draft to kick back around for us. Long way to go. Alright, but what do you think of that trade offer there? Taylor, Wilson, and Johnson in exchange for Aaron Jones, Jalen Hurts, and CeeDee Lamb. I think I'm still getting by far the better end of it. But if he says yes, cool. Let's go ahead and make that offer. And then Beavers, I thought had a decent one. Let's see what his offer. He has Diggs. We could go that route. Diggs and Higgins. Who would be the running back I'd get back? Nobody. Never mind. Let's look at Himmler again. Or Helmer. Not enough. Crikey. No running back I want back. Watkins. I think I already submitted a trade request to him. Hilton Head. Chubb. Pitts. Jefferson. Penny. That could be a trade right there. Let's go ahead and propose a deal here. Flip back over. Alright, so we got a draft pick here in just a moment. Michael Gallup probably will be one of those players, just because we can move him to IR and pick somebody up on waivers in week 1. Looking this late in the draft, though, you're looking for lottery tickets. There aren't a whole lot of them left. But we'll go ahead and take Gallup, I think, first. Let's look at the defenses that are left. 49ers, the only one worth carrying in season long, but again, I'd rather have the Broncos. I already have Kelsey. I've got everybody I want at quarterback. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and take Gallup first. And then we're going to circle back and take Romeo. Now I've got 6 receivers on this roster. My receiver room should be plenty good. My next selection is going to be a runner. Darrell Henderson's the best one by a mile. So that'll be our pick. While we wait for the end of this draft to kind of get going, let's go back to our trade request we were going to make. We're going to go ahead and try to trade away Jonathan Taylor. The equivalent type of a player that I want back in this type of a deal would be Justin Jefferson. And I think for a runner, I would want back Nick Chubb. I'll give Deontay Washington back the other direction. That's a pretty decent deal there. Obviously, Jefferson is much better than Johnson. Taylor's better than Chubb. I still think I'd have to give up a hair more. I'm going to see if I can get the quarterback out of it as well. And looking at the back end of their roster, it's pretty much how I would go. He has 3 defenses. Yuck. So yeah, we'll go ahead and make that trade offer first. There we go. Flip back over to our draft, see how it's going. Got about 10 picks left before our final couple of picks. Still got Henderson on the board. He'll be our first selection. Broncos D will be the next. Although kicker will be a little dicey at the very end. I'm guessing I'll probably be left with the very worst kicker of the 10, being Mason Crosby. But I want Darrell Henderson for sure. Any of y'all drafting along with us? Got a couple of picks here until mine. Once we draft these, we'll flip back over. Ooh, there goes Pickens. One of the players I was hoping that would make it to the waiver wire. He will not. Again, I did draft Michael Gallup, so I will have a bench spot available after this draft, just because I'll move Gallup to IR and then go to the waiver wire and have my pick of whatever's left. Brian Robinson, thank you very much. I'll take Henderson. And for my defense, give me Broncos. Welcome back, Ryan. No, Deshaun, I think we'll wait until the waiver wire to pick him up. In fact, when I move Gallup to the IR spot, I might actually pick him up because Pickens is already gone. There's usually not a lot left to pick from. Not a lot that sticks out anyway. It's just whether or not you want to sit him on your bench for 12 weeks. It's a valuable bench spot. I'm not sure if he will start. I know Trubisky's going to start, and so that bodes well for Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool to start the season. But I'm pretty sure Pickens will get a healthy run of targets. They usually run a 3 wide receiver set there in Pittsburgh. He's probably going to serve as the 3rd wide receiver this year, and that's a good offense. For 3 wide receivers, they've done that before. Juju last year, they've had Mike Wallace there before, Antonio Brown. There's a long line of good Pittsburgh Steelers wide receivers. He looks to be the next in that long line. Randall Cobb, why are you drafting him? Yup. I suppose he'll start the season over Romeo, but I don't think it'll last long. I think his wheels are about to fall off. There goes McManus. Dang it. Prater's probably the best kicker left. Claypool is overhyped, but he's still good. And now he's being undervalued at pick 100 and change. He's probably better than most of the wide receivers going in the late 70s, early 80s, like Drake London, etc. That Pittsburgh offense should still be good, even with Trubisky at the helm. Prater's probably our kicker. If he goes off the board, then we're probably looking at Crosby. Come on, let's go. Yeah, but he's still a catch monster. In a PPR league, I'll take it. And I think he's going to have a much better quarterback this year than the ghost of Ben Roethlisberger. No, I don't think Trubisky's one of the top 20 quarterbacks in the league, but he's better than whatever Ben Roethlisberger's been for the last 2 years. No backup. Only carry the 1 tight end. Go with more wide receivers and running backs at that point. If you need him on a bye week, say Hawkinson's on a bye, then you can go for Jesse James. But don't carry 2 tight ends unless you're talking about, Kelsey and Pitts, and that's just how your draft fell for you, or, something like that. You don't need a back-end tight end option. That's not going to be in the top, 12 at the position by the end of the year. There goes Prater, of course. And I'm left with Gold, Suckup, and Crosby to choose from. Gold, I wonder if they're going to allow him to kick from deep. That offense should still be good. Same thing for Suckup. He's accurate, but again, they don't allow him to kick from deep. So give me Crosby. Alright, so let's go ahead and go to the waiver wire real quick. Manage IR. We're going to move Gallup to IR. Go to our add players function and see who's left. Jarvis Landry hit free agency. Marvin Jones, nobody really exciting. Julio Jones. Bills game, yes, I will be live on Thursday for the Bills and Rams. There's really not a lot here. I suppose you could go with Gainwell, but I don't want any part of that Philadelphia backfield. Palmer could have a decent year. Landry, Colts defense could be good again this year, but again, they're having a changeover at the top. Looking at the quarterbacks left, nobody really expiring confidence. I don't want anybody like that. Cedric Wilson, the third wide receiver out of Miami. For week 1, I think the Bills are the better team, but they're on the road. KJ Osborne. I'm going to go ahead and put Watson on my bench if he's still there. Yep. Submit. I mean, I don't want him taking up a spot for 12 weeks, but there's nobody else really exciting on the roster right now. Okay, so now that we've finished up that one, let's go ahead and look at some of these other teams and see if we can get a trade done here. Swanson was the team that had picked a couple of my players that I liked. Okay, let's go ahead and propose a trade here. We're going to offer Justin Jefferson, Jonathan Taylor, Mitchell, and Pierce. The other two players I'm going to toss in here. I like my runners. They're going to want a wide receiver back, so let's give them Amon-Ra. And then we'll give them I don't want to give up another one of my running backs because I'm already going to be light at the position. I'll be even lighter without Taylor. Let's go ahead and do Romeo because I think he might cut him if he doesn't have a big week 1. That's a decent trade. So that would give me, my running backs would be Aaron Jones. Pierce would be my number 2. Mitchell my number 3. Dillon my number 4. Jefferson steps in as my number 1. Waddle my number 2. Sutton my number 3. Juju my number 4. That's pretty good. I don't think he'll take the offer, but I'll take it. That's a decent trade offer there. Let's do one other trade just to see if we can find somebody else who's got some pieces that I like. Not going to be able to make a trade with this one. Let's go with WJ. Okay, he has Eckler and Connor. He's weak at wide receiver, very weak at wide receiver. Maybe he wants to push his advantage at the position. He spent all 3 of his top picks on running backs. He would want a receiver back. Okay. Let's go ahead and just make a trade and see what happens. Okay, so we're going to offer Taylor. We're going to want Eckler or Connor. Let's go ahead and just say both. Just for kicks and giggles. Okay? Let's give him Amon-Ra. They're going to want somebody a little bit better, obviously. Scott Jackson, Schultz, Gabe Davis. He shouldn't accept this trade. I'm just curious if he will. If I offer Romeo in that, something like that might get it done. He does need receivers. He would have to cut somebody. He probably moves Robinson. No, he doesn't need to cut anybody. He just moves Robinson to IR and he'd be fine. Yeah, let's just see if he takes that. There we go. Alrighty, now that we've set this team up, let's go ahead and draft another league. We've tried and tried and tried to do salary cap leagues. It's just not going to happen, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and do another snake. Alright, team is already filled up. Somebody's a Dolphins fan, so thankfully those guys should go off the board early. Alright, back to where we kind of left off earlier. Just looking at our sortable projections anyway. We already went over our running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks. We did a little bit of tight ends as well. Defenses, like I mentioned, there's only a couple of defenses that I actually think are worth having this year. Bills, far and away, number 1. In my opinion, the 49ers would be number 2, and then everybody else you could stream. I mean, there'll be weeks where the Green Bay defense looks like the 85 Bears, and then there'll be weeks when they look like, you know, the Cleveland Browns from back in the Tim Couch days where they were, you know, or the 0-16 Lions. There'll be weeks like that for all of these defenses. But the Bills, I think, are the most lineup-proof roster. I mean, you'll still have to worry about them week 1 against the Rams, but if you draft a second defense, stream a defense, you should be just fine. Got about a minute here until our draft begins. As far as kickers, nobody likes really talking about kickers, but Justin Tucker is far and away the number 1. Outside of that, I would say McPherson, Gay, McManus are in that mix for number 2. And then you're looking at the next level of Folk, Carlson, and Butker, and Prater for that next group of kickers. And then if you have somebody else beyond that, Mason Crosby, hope you get a little bit better, get a waiver wire guy. in that mix as well. Alrighty. See if the league's just... Oh my goodness. Somebody keeps jumping in and out of this dang league. Ridiculous. This guy keeps jumping in and out. I'm hoping it's somebody other than Team O'Neill at this point. Yay, somebody else. So hopefully we'll now be able to draft the league on time. Appreciate you guys joining us. We'll sort through some of these rosters here at the end of the night. See if there's any other opportunities we can have with other teams. If you're the guy that likes to make trades, you want to grab players that other teams are going to be interested in having. So you're looking at players like, say, Josh Allen. Other teams are going to want the number one quarterback in fantasy, so maybe they'll give up a little bit better of a piece for him. But usually you just want to draft your best team that you can and not worry too much about trades. The only time I think about it now is with the top pick with Jonathan Taylor. He's a lock to be number one. Even if I don't trade him, he should still be great. But in the rare event that I do actually hold on to him, I got a great option. And he doesn't have a bye till week 14. Cardinals fan, that works for me. All I need now is somebody to say they're a Bucks fan, and I got players in this league that'll scoop up the players I have no interest in. I have zero interest in Evans, Godwin, Julio Jones, Leonard Fournette. Only one I would like, Tom Brady. From the Cardinals, I don't want Marquise Brown. Only player I want out of Arizona is James Conner. As the NFL Network shows off Gronkowski on mic'd up anyway. He actually, I think, could be back by week 12, 13 this year. I think Brady might actually talk him out of retirement yet again. Say, hey, we've got enough options right now. We don't need you for the start of the season. But hey, it's time to get off of the beach in November. We'll see. $30 seconds here. Hopefully nobody leaves. Seconds. Antonio Brown on the sideline during that Giants game, talking to Brady. He's never getting back in the league again. Hey, we got pick 9. All right. I'll take it. So, looks like we actually might have a very active draft. Only one auto pick in here right now. Not bad. And everybody's here. This draft might go quickly. Or slower. We'll see. Looking at pick 9, I'm projected to probably have Dalvin Cook left on the board. I'm hoping for one of the top receivers to be left, but I'll take Dalvin or Najee if they're available. With my next pick, with the 12th pick, Deebo Samuel all day long. They showed this clip on here like 5 seconds ago of Dak and and CeeDee Lamb hitting helmets in the head. What the heck? Alright, 40 seconds here until the start of the draft here. We did not end up with the number 1 pick this time. We ended up with the number 9. I prefer that spot anyway, just because I like that it gets me Deebo Samuel usually. However, it does make me miss out on James Conner and Aaron Jones. Unless for some reason they fall, which they never do. Maybe I'll get lucky though, we'll see. Five seconds, 2, 1, here we go. Only one team got in and then left. Hopefully this draft will move swiftly. Eckler number 2. A little different. There goes Jefferson. That means Kupp and McCaffrey will be the next 2 picks. Gotta wait for this auto draft to get out of the way. Appreciate you guys joining us here. We'll see which pick or who we get stuck with here at the 9th selection. Probably be one of the top running backs. Najee Harris or Dalvin Cook. Unless somebody reaches really far and goes for a Josh Allen or something like that. There we go, auto pick. Derrick Henry, that's fine. Still 2 receivers left. Maybe we'll get another runner taken here. Nope. Cooper Kupp going 6. Probably Jamar Chase or Najee. Now I get Dalvin Cook here or Debo. Debo to me is the best player left. I want to make sure I get him. Dalvin Cook is going to be very good as a runner. We'll go Dalvin and hope they go for Tyreek Hill instead. Leave me Debo. That's all I want. Joe Mixon, okay. And Tyreek. Not bad. Okay, so I will take Debo. Alright, looking at the next selection, probably going to be around this range here. T. Higgins is probably the best receiver if I had to expect one to be there. And then, of course, as I mentioned, I would love to have Aaron Jones or James Conner. They probably won't be there. DJ Moore could be there. Nick Chubb, possibly. Jalen Waddle. Kyle Pitts. Somewhere in that group. Got a long way to go until those players are there, though. See if we can have any luck at all today. There goes Mark Andrews. Alvin Kamara still on the board. There he goes. Swift off the board. Kelsey, very good pick. Exactly what I would have done there. Connor's the best one left, and then Jones. Of course, both of these teams already have running backs. There goes Javonte, okay. Very, very, very unlikely I get Connor or Jones, but if I do, you will see me do a very happy leap into the air of celebration. No happy dance, sorry. There will be no dancing. There goes Aaron Jones. Keenan Allen, that's fine. Come on, somebody take Mike Evans. Don't let the auto pick take James Conner. Take Saquon, something else. There goes Herbert really early. First quarterback off the board? I don't know about that. But in either event, James Conner is still there, Higgins is still there, Moore is still there. Those are probably the three I'd like in that order. We'll see how this one goes. Akers, Barkley should draw the eye of a couple of these guys. Evans, hopefully, as well. There goes Evans. Pittman's not enough of an eye-opener for anybody. We could see another quarterback come off the board here as well. That'd kind of be my only way to get James Conner at this point, is if somebody really likes Saquon, another one really likes Akers, and another one really likes Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. Then and only then would I end up with James Conner. If they do that, wow. There goes Allen. There goes Chubb. Oh my goodness, I ended up with James Conner. Thank you. Come again. Wow. Barkley, take him all you want. Leave me Higgins. Please leave me Higgins. Leave me Higgins. Come on. Take A.J. Brown. Go ahead, take him. Wow. Wow. I got not one, but both of my third and fourth round picks that I wanted. James Conner falls all the way to me. Higgins, there was an outside chance he would get there. He falls to me in the fourth round. Holy smokes. My team is officially loaded. I could have been auto pick and I would have picked those players. Unbelievable. Wow. CEH drafted in the fourth round. I like him, but not before Patrick Mahomes. Yee. And now you get Patrick Mahomes. DJ Moore is still on the board. I'm going to end up with some really good options here at the flex as well, it looks like. Usually the right around the fifth round is where you get into a dead spot for me. The fifth and the ninth round. We'll see how this goes. Pittman off the board, that's fine. Looks like we might get another auto pick here. That's a little discouraging. I got 2 top 10 backs. I got 2 top 10 receivers. I mean, watch, they're going to leave me Kyle Pitts. Just watch them leave me Kyle Pitts in the 5th round. I'd love Jalen Waddle as well. I don't think he makes it there. Looks like we're going to have an auto draft here. That'll take McLaurin, Deontay, and Waddle over the next 7 picks. But Kyle Pitts is an outside chance to get to me. Okay, let's just assume they're all gone though. Who's the next best choice for me? Ezekiel Elliott, possibly. Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, J.K. Dobbins, Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's about it. Probably go with one of the Denver receivers there with our next pick. Let's look at our quarterbacks and see what's left. Basically Hurts and Jackson, and then that's it. until you get to probably the 8th round with Brady, etc., etc. I'd really like Kyle Pitts with one of those picks, and then Cortland Sutton with the following. That would be my ideal draft right now. DJ Moore off the board. There goes McLaurin. Leave me Kyle Pitts. Come on now. We got a long way to go until we get to my pick, though. Yep. There goes Pitts. That means Waddle's going to be gone, so we're going to be left with one of the Denver running backs, one of the Denver receivers. And maybe Dobbins. Ezekiel Elliott, I haven't taken in a league yet. I could take him in this one, depending on how the league goes. I do not expect him to be there either. He's the best running back left on the board. There goes Etienne. Could go with Jalen Hurts with one of my next couple of picks. Seems like this could be the territory for him. There goes Cortland Sutton. Unfortunately. Well. Take Brandon Cooks. Take Brandon Cooks. You're not going to, but I want you to take him. Got a couple of auto picks here that'll take off the board Johnson and Waddle. Russell Wilson. Holy smokes. Okay. You took a great pick with Kyle Pitts, and then you follow that up with Russell Wilson? Make it make sense! Looking at this area of the draft, probably looking at Elliott, Judy, and Dobbins, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Hurts. If Zeke gets to me, I'll take Zeke. I've never taken him in this year anyway. As a Cowboys fan, I know he's on the backside of his career, and he could be a very good third running back for me. There goes Breece Hall. That's just fine. Take Mike Williams. Take Brandon Cooks. Take Marquise Brown. There goes Zeke. So probably Jerry Jeudy or Dobbins. And Hurts will be the next pick for me. There goes Mike Williams. Probably Jeudy first. As long as this isn't a quarterback with this pick. Burrow. Holy smokes. Okay. Well, I was worried about a quarterback, but I was thinking more like Lamar Jackson. I'll go ahead and take Jerry Jeudy here. Dolphin Nation still needs a quarterback. They go George Kittle. Good pick. And I guess as they go Lamar. No! There goes Jalen Hurts. That one hurts just a little bit. So I think I'm going to go Dobbins here. I think Dobbins is probably the best play. What did Cooks do last year? He had some decent games. I mean, he's a good receiver. How many games over 20? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many close? 1, 2, 3, 4 more. Still not enough production, I think, for me for a fourth receiver. I'd rather go with a running back in Dobbins or Mitchell. Dobbins, I think, has the greatest upside out of the two, if I had to guess. Also has the better floor because of the injuries. We'll go with Dobbins. Oh well. I'll have a very deep team. I'm not sure if I'll have elite tight ends or quarterbacks, though. Probably have to go for a quarterback and tight end in round 8 and 9. Which means round 7 is probably going to be Dameon Pierce if I get lucky. I would love Juju Smith-Schuster, but I don't think he'll be there. Really like my roster, though. The top 4, I think, all are top 10 players at the position. There goes Waller and Mitchell. Fine by me. Just looking at the running back room right now. Pierce is the third best one left on the board. That scares me a lot. I don't think he'll get to my next pick, but I really hope that he does. A couple of running backs that I want left at this point in the draft are going to be 1 Pierce, 2 Dillon, 3 Mostart, 4 Henderson. Am I going to get all of those? No. Metcalf and Mooney. Somebody's going to take Lamar here in the next couple of picks. Just looking at the teams, I expect this team to actually take him. They still need a quarterback. Me, I'll take Tom Brady later on. Goes Godwin. Who are they going to follow up with here? Come on, man, make your selection. Or at this point, go auto. Since you got 9 seconds left. Kyler Murray. Okay. Probably going to go Singletary if I had to guess with his next pick. Come on, come on. You took your full 3 minutes. Let's go, dude. There goes Hawkinson. Brady off the board. Now I'm starting to worry about my quarterback. Lamar Jackson, if he's still there at my pick, I'd probably take him. I was waiting for Brady. I mean, there's still Prescott and Rodgers, Stafford available. So if Jackson's gone, I'd probably wait at probably another round. We'll see how it goes. Gabe Davis is still on the board. Schuster is still on the board. Thielen, Kirk, Allen Robinson. All of those guys are going to be gone by the 9th round for me. Come on, let's go. Appreciate you guys watching along with us. Hope you guys are drafting your league as well. Having some fun. ESPN lets you have up to 25 teams. Not sure if we'll have enough time to get close to that 25, but darn it, we're trying. There goes Lamar. That's fine. Looking at the quarterbacks left, you got Prescott, Rodgers, Stafford, and Lance. I have to at least probably end up with 2 of those guys. My preference would be Lance, Rodgers, Prescott, Stafford. No! And now my running back is gone too. Well, this draft went really well up until that point, I suppose. Allen Robinson's probably the pick here. Gabe Davis could be a pick. I'll just load up on receivers. Dawson Knox? Really? Okay. Give me Juju. And then Thielen, Kirk, Robinson are probably my next best options at receiver. Gabe Davis is still on the board, though, at pick 72. Cole Beasley's gone. Samuels is gone. He's clearly the number 2 option in that receiving core. And that offense is going to be good. Give me Gabe Davis, I guess. Okay. Now, I've got plenty of receivers. Plenty. Looking at the running back room, you still got Sanders, Hunt, Stevenson, Harris, Edmonds, Gibson, Pollard, all before my next favorite running back in A.J. Dillon. He will probably be my next running back selection. Quarterback will be my next pick, though, and maybe even tight end. We'll see. There goes Thielen. Let's put all of these quarterbacks in the queue. Trey Lance being my number 1. Rodgers above him. Now let's look at our tight ends. At this point, I could go with Schultz. I like Zach Ertz more, though. Let's go ahead and put him on the board as well. And Schultz. Other tight ends that I'd keep an eye on. That's pretty much it that are worth drafting at this point. Now, if I do or if this draft goes any worse as far as the tight end spot, then there's a whole group of tight ends that I could take in the final 2 or 3 rounds. Cole Kmet, Hunter Henry, Mike Gesicki, Irv Smith Jr., Noah Fant, David Njoku, Tyler Higbee, Evan Graham. All those guys are decent. Austin Hooper is not a good... Oh. Somebody just took A.J. Dillon. I want to look at this guy's roster. He needs a quarterback. He needs a receiver. So I could take Brady, Pitts, and Dillon in exchange for... Oh, I still like my team, though. Even with losing Pierce and Dillon, I still like my roster. I still need a quarterback and a tight end. I don't know. We'll have to see after the draft how the roster shakes out. If I had to guess, I'll end up with Mostart and Henderson as my 4th and 5th running backs. I still got my 2, aircraft carriers at running back. I'm good there. I would have really liked to have a solid number 3/4 option. Dobbins could be great, could be a non-factor. It looks like quarterback will be the next pick for me. And then maybe Ertz at tight end. Be happy with that. If I end up with Lance and Ertz in my next 2 picks. Goes Ramondre. Kareem Hunt is still on the board. There goes Goddard. That's fine. Butker, that's even better. Okay. So... there's a chance Lance could be available at the next pick, or next round of picks for me. So I'm going to go ahead and take Rodgers or Prescott. Week 14 bye. I don't really have bye week issues. Does Dolphin Nation have a tight end already? They do, so they don't need one. Prescott or Rodgers? Prescott or Rodgers? I'll go Prescott just because of the rushing ability. And Tua, wow, okay. He really does want his Dolphins. Give me Ertz for my tight end. There goes D-Hop. That's just fine. Rashad Penny could be of interest for me. We'll cue him. Along with Gallup, Mostart, Henderson, Pickens, and Romeo. Okay. I'll probably take Gallup with one of my final picks. Surprisingly, Kareem Hunt is still on the board, and Aaron Rodgers. Two players that usually get drafted above their projected slot. My receiver group is elite. My running back room could use could use more bodies at this point more than anything else. And I still need another quarterback anyway. I'm hoping to get the home run hitter in Trey Lance. Appreciate you guys joining us. Hope you're having fun drafting your leagues as well. Come on, come on, come on. There goes Trey Lance, of course. Well, just looking at the quarterbacks, I might not carry a backup if Rodgers isn't there. I expect him to be gone here, though. There he goes. So it looks like I'll have an extra bench spot available. I don't want to carry Carr or Cousins, even though they'll probably be the bye week fill-in. I could use another quarterback. I might get one in trade. We'll see. There goes Carr anyway. Penny and Mostart are probably my next two picks. Probably Mostart just because Dolphin Nation is behind us. go. How many bench spots do I have left? 3. And I've got 5 players I'm thinking about. Really 4. Henderson's probably the best runner, but I'm going to go ahead and take Penny. Just because he is the starter now. That gives me my 5. Then I'll probably follow up with Gallup and then Henderson. And then on the waivers, I'll hope that Romeo Dubes is still there and hope nobody else is paying attention. On waivers. Not bad. I'll still need a quarterback at some point. After this draft is over, I may end up making a trade proposal to a team. I do like my roster, though. Very good depth. But I might have sacrificed some points on game day for that depth. There goes Claypool, a good receiver. Waiting for these picks to move a little quicker. Once you get this late in the draft, usually everybody has their favorites that they like to go to, just to kind of round out their roster. I like Gallup just because of the ability to put him on IR, and if he strikes it rich with the Cowboys, then I got the second best receiver in a good offense. And if he doesn't, so be it. I can cut him into just outright release him. Come on, man, pick. There goes Komet, that's just fine. Bye week fill in, honestly. After this draft is over, we'll go ahead and go to our league page anyway and just see if we get anything going. Welcome back, Hunter. This draft went really well for the first 4 picks, and then decent in the middle rounds, and then went to nothing in the last few. Ended up with Prescott as my quarterback. Ertz is a decent tight end. I've got good depth, and I've got really good options in my starting lineup, but I'm going to want a better quarterback before the season is over in Prescott. He's still worthy of starting, don't get me wrong, but I still want one of the, at least a chance at a top 5 guy. Prescott for me is an 8 to 10 guy. Nice. Yep, Carlson's a better kicker for you. Just waiting for these teams to get faster. There goes Boyd. Nobody else of real interest for me yet. Well, it should be an offense-heavy game. It is in California as well. So if you're to pick a team or pick a week where you're okay having Bass, I guess week 1 would be it. All right, let's keep going, boys and girls. Why do you take 2 kickers if you're Dolphins Nation? That does not make any sense. Whatever. Give me Henderson. Now I got 6 running backs and 6 receivers, and I'm probably still going to pick up yet another receiver on waivers as long as Romeo Doubs is still there. I'm going to go ahead and queue a couple of these kickers. And the Broncos defense, wherever they are. There they are. Alrighty. Come on, people, let's go. Things to do. Tomorrow we'll have a live stream about our division winners, and we'll go over our Super Bowl picks first thing after I get off work tomorrow. We'll probably go live right around 6 o'clock with that one. That'll probably last 30 minutes to 45 minutes for both AFC and NFC combined. So kind of keep your eyes peeled for that one. Go ahead and get your predictions ready, participate, let us know who you guys think is going to win each division. You might be surprised by a few of my division winners. And then after we finish that, we'll have a little bit of dinner and then start another round of fantasy football drafts after that. Probably going from 8 o'clock to probably about 11 tomorrow evening. We might watch some baseball while we do it. I know those of you who watched baseball with us in the past, joined us during the trade deadline season, gained like 200 and change on trade deadline day. That'll be good. But that 6 o'clock tomorrow, Charles, is when we'll do that. I think it's pretty safe to say the Bills will be a playoff team, but as far as whether or not I have them go to the Super Bowl, you'll have to watch. Baseball stream, I'm going to definitely be doing one on Friday evening. Been trying to plan it out. On Thursday, we're going to be doing the Bills and Rams, of course. On Friday evening, we'll do one of the late baseball games in that 8:30, 9 o'clock window. And then on Saturday, after I get off work there, we'll probably watch some college football, maybe do some fantasy drafts as well. We'll see. I'm still debating about that because after the season has begun, it kind of throws everybody through a loop as to what Gabe Davis did in the game, or what Allen Robinson did. Players really move up and down the board there. So we'll see if we actually draft. I mean, it's technically after the season began, so I don't know. But we'll probably do a baseball game as well on Saturday. On Sunday, we'll do an early morning fantasy football thing for you guys. Probably be in the neighborhood of 30 minutes to an hour, going over waiver wires, how to set your lineup, how to manage your IR spot, those kinds of things. But we'll see how it goes. Looks like I'm probably going to end up with either Folk or Prater as my kicker. I'll take it. Out of the two, I'd rather have Folk. And I really want that Denver defense for week 1 and 2. So leave me Denver. That's all I ask. It was the Colts defense, fine by me. Chuba Hubbard. Just because I know he's not going to take a kicker again, I'm going to go ahead and take the Broncos D. He already took 2 kickers the last time. Fine by me. Take him all you want. Cedric Wilson, cool. Give me Nick Folk. And now the only reason why I'm sticking around in this is just to watch and see if Romeo Doubs is available in free agency along with George Pickens. Hopefully one of the two will be there. That way when I move Michael Gallup to IR, I can immediately pick up one of those guys. Just making sure one of them didn't get drafted already here. Doesn't look like it. Nope. Just wish these guys would quickly make their round 16 picks. I mean, it's the last pick. You should know what you want. There goes Pickens. So Romeo's the last one I want left. If he goes, then we'll have to go a different direction with our final spot. We may end up going with a quarterback. There goes kickers, a bunch of kickers. Another one. Leave me Romeo, leave me Romeo. I don't think he's going to be good for the first 3 weeks of the season, though. So I can stash him on the bottom of our roster, unless there's somebody on waivers worth picking up. One pick left. Who will it be? Gus Edwards, who's going to start the season on IR for Baltimore. That's a good pickup. He should split carries with Dobbins the rest of the season once he does come back, though. So let's go ahead and go to my team. See this button right here that's highlighted blue? I'll move my mouse off and back on, off, back on. You can see it says Manage IR. Click that. Nobody who's suspended can go to your IR spot. However, if they're out due to injury, etc., you can move them to IR, and there it is, automatically saved. Steelers or Chargers defense in week 1. I can't remember. I know I like the Chargers in week 3, I thought. I can't remember who they play in week 1. Chargers against the Raiders. You might want to skip somebody. Steelers play the Bengals. You might want to skip both of those and find somebody on the waiver wire. See if you can find somebody who's playing like the Texans or the Falcons or the Jets, the Seahawks, something like that. Hunter Henry's still available. Sky Moore. Interesting. Let's go with percent rostered. Go ahead and add Romeo. Claim. Done. So there's my roster. I still would like another, bite at the apple as far as quarterback. Would you trade Mixon and Higgins for Javonte and Debo? Debo's the better receiver. Debo's probably the best player out of that. It's up to you as far as how much you believe in Javonte Williams. If you believe Javonte Williams is very similar to Mixon, make the deal in a heartbeat. If you don't think they're similar and you think there's a little bit of a step between Mixon and Javonte, then it's apples and apples for me. I mean, it's very similar. It's just, which package would you rather have? The better running back or the better receiver? Now, Higgins I still think is a top 10 wide receiver, as along with Debo. Mixon I think is probably a borderline top 10 running back. Javonte I think is a really good running back too. So we'll see how that goes. Debo, though, I think has a chance to be the number 1 receiver in all of fantasy football. So for you, Cole, I'd probably say with Debo being in that deal, he's probably my favorite player in round 2 of the draft. That'd be very tempting. I'd probably do it, though, because I think Debo is slightly ahead of Mixon, and I think Javonte is ahead of Higgins as far as value to your team. So I'd probably take Javonte and Debo. All right, with that, I do work early tomorrow. It's been a great 3 days off of work. Had some family stuff to take care of today, family stuff that I did yesterday and the day before. Spent time with them, so it was good. Hope you guys got to have a lot of barbecue, grilling out, making steaks, burgers, whatever you like to do. Hope you guys got to have some time off of work and just relax. But time to get back to the grindstone tomorrow. I will be off at 5 o'clock. As I mentioned, tomorrow at 6 o'clock we'll be going through our division winners. We'll be going through Super Bowl predictions, all those kinds of things. So make sure you tune in live for that. We will also start a live at about 8, 7:30, somewhere in there after I have dinner, after doing our prediction show. And go ahead and do some more fantasy football drafts, go over some waiver wire stuff with you guys, and just see how close to 20 teams we can get. See if we can get even above that. Just looking at how many teams I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12. I have 16 teams right now. So if we draft 4 more tomorrow night, that gives us 20. I might draft 1 more as I fall asleep. I don't know if I'll be able to, though. I still got things I got to do around the house. But again, tomorrow at 6 o'clock, we'll have our division predictions along with Super Bowl predictions tomorrow for you guys at 6. And then around 7:30, 8 o'clock, we'll do another fantasy football live stream, draft some teams. So go ahead and get your popcorn ready, as T.O. would say. And let's have some fun, draft some teams just before the season kicks off. On Thursday, I work open to close. That means at about 7:30, I'll probably be getting on live. And we'll watch the season opener with the Rams and the Bills. That should be epic to finally have football back. Not my favorite sport, but it's still one of my 4 favorites. But it should be a really exciting game. Buffalo Bills, I'm honestly pulling for them in that game if I had to pick one. I just think they're a little bit better team. I like their defense a lot more than I do the Rams this year. I think the offensive line for the Bills could use a little bit of work along with the Rams. Enough changes on both sides to really make me wonder how effective they're going to be. But Josh Allen is the better quarterback, and I think that's ultimately what wins the game out in California on the road in Week 1. Super Bowl champ coming off of that Super Bowl high. I know a lot of those. There's been a lot of turnover there. They got Bobby Wagner in house now, so it should be a very competitive game. Am I expecting it to be a blowout? No, but I am expecting it to be a track meet. I'm expecting probably a 38-35 final score, something like that, 39-36. But I'm expecting the Bills to probably win if I had to pick a winner. But should be good to go. And then on Friday, we will do some live baseball for you guys around 9 o'clock. 8:30, we'll see which game we end up doing. And then on Saturday, we'll start live with you guys at about 6 o'clock. We'll do a live baseball game. We may do some fantasy drafts, but after Week 1 has already begun, I'm a little iffy on that, whether or not I'll do it. But look forward to some baseball on Friday and Saturday. And then Sunday, fantasy football, we'll go ahead and do a live with you guys, going over the rosters, how to adjust your roster, manage your IR spot, go over waivers, how to plan your roster for the next couple of weeks and not just for that week, that kind of thing. You want to be able to be in the playoffs whenever that comes around in your league. And as I mentioned, we use ESPN Standard here, but if you use Yahoo or Underdog or whatever other site you're using, DraftKings, whatever, Daily Fantasy, tune in here, get your update on what's going down in the league, see who's going to be out of the lineup, what news and notes you need to be made aware of, see if anybody's going to get like a lion's share of the carries that you don't expect out of a certain team, or maybe the receiver you really like is going to play, but he's only going to play like 15 snaps and that's it. But we'll see how it goes. But we'll see you guys again tomorrow night at 6 o'clock for our division winners in the NFC and AFC, and then of course our Super Bowl prediction as well. Aaron Jones, Mike Williams for Diggs and Dillon, full PPR. I don't like Mike Williams. He's too inconsistent for me. Love Diggs. Absolutely love him. I'm guessing they did I'm guessing they drafted Mike Williams a lot higher. I would rather have the package of Diggs and Dillon. I would see if I could expand this trade to 3 different pieces, remove Jones, and see if you can leave Diggs and Dillon in there and maybe give up a couple more premium pieces. Brady, Najee, Pittman, Williams, Ertz, and Etienne. Ouch. I don't like Etienne. I don't like Williams. Jones is your second running back. Dillon would probably be your second running back after this trade. If you could trade or change the trade to, instead of Aaron Jones, put Michael Pittman and Mike Williams in the deal, or Michael Pittman and Etienne in the deal, I would do that in a heartbeat. Pittman and Etienne for Diggs and Dillon, done. Easy. But I don't know. Based on your lineup right now, Etienne being your third running back, I would rather have Jones. Dillon, I would rather have as my third or fourth running back, not as my number 2. And having Diggs and Pittman there, I think Diggs will be more of a target monster than Pittman will. And so that's why I like Diggs a lot more than I do Pittman. In fact, I'd trade both of those receivers in order to get Diggs, and then see if you can fill in that second wide receiver spot with another guy like Christian Kirk, Allen Robinson, Juju, Adam Thielen, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Gabe Davis, any one of those type of players. But thank you guys for joining us. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, thanks for subscribing, Hunter. Appreciate that. Just noticed that on the page there. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. It really does help us out. Trying to reach 1,000 before the end of our first year of doing this anyway. Still got a couple of months to go, but we gained quite a few during Major League Baseball season. Yeah, I would do Pittman and ETN for Diggs and Dillon, absolutely. Diggs is going to have a monster year as far as receptions. I think Davis is there as well. If he won't do that type of a deal, see if you can do, some type of a deal, possibly expanding it to 3. I'm not sure what his bench pieces are, but Pittman and ETN for Diggs and Dillon. Give me Diggs and Dillon. Both of those players I like better than Pittman and ETN. But make sure you hit that subscribe button and like. It really does help us out. And we will be going live again tomorrow at about 6 o'clock with our division winners and Super Bowl predictions. More fantasy football coverage. We'll go ahead and do some live fantasy drafts. Possibly the final night of that tomorrow evening at about 8 o'clock. And again, we'll do the Rams and Bills game live for you guys here on YouTube at 7:30. Thank you guys, and we'll see you guys tomorrow evening again at 6 o'clock. Our division winners and Super Bowl predictions. We'll see you guys then. Thank you guys.